made it home after work. And I've got my advents. So today is another advent from Caroline. Biscuits, I think. Knapperige Kruidnoten. I'm sure they're very tasty. They look chocolatey to me, so that'd be fun. And, oh, a mini. Colourful Creativity, that's Caroline's yarn dyeing business. Colourful Creativity soft sock in Rudolph. That's actually a pretty good colour representation. Oh, that's lovely. And, ooh, Pickwick green tea with lemon. That's refreshing. Oh, as well as dyeing yarn, Caroline is a glass worker. She makes lovely glass beads and makes them into stitch markers. That's her logo. Colourful Creativity by Caroline, and she's given me one of her handmade snowman. Is it going to focus? Focus, go on. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it, Caroline. That's about as good as I can get it. Little snowman. And look, he's got a carroty nose and a scarf. Oh, thank you, that's lovely. I will put that on my dad's Christmas sock so I get to use it straight away. And that is her website, www.kralaline.nl. I'll try and remember to put it on the screen as well. Oh, that's a lovely package, thank you. Ooh, I wonder what those are going to taste like. And then there's day 5 from Jennifer. Ooh, the number fell off. Always and Forever Red Berries Fragrance Oil. Ooh, lovely. Use a few drops of this fragrance oil in an oil burner or on potpourri. Oh, right, okay, so it's like rum fragrance. Let's have a smell. Oh, that's nice. Oh, lovely. Thank you. And nice to get something a bit different as well. Ah, and Swizzle's Parma Violets. Do you like those? They taste a bit like soap, but they're nice. Oh, well, what a lovely day's Advent. Thank you very much, my lovely Advent friends. Okay, yesterday I put out a little question on Insta stories because Thursday is my really long shift at work. So there wasn't going to be anything terribly interesting to film. My clients aren't that interested in being filmed, so I thought, well, I'll do a Q&A. And lots of you queued, so thank you very much. So I thought I'd work my way through these. Thistle Sticks asked if we have any Christmas morning traditions or just general Christmas traditions, and Caroline was interested in that as well. Okay, so Christmas morning, the kids wake up, and as long as it's after 7 AM, and my youngest one is 12 now, so it's not like they're hugely early risers. So once they wake up, they bring their Christmas stockings, which they find on the end of their beds, into our room, and I get out of bed and make a quick cup of tea for everyone and clamber back in, and then everyone takes turns opening their Christmas stockings. We always do that. There's always some sort of family dog walk because Jim deserves a Christmas Day walk. And that's about it. We're pretty traditional. We have a tree and decorations. We don't bother listening to the Queen's speech. Sorry, Your Madge. And we're not really one for watching television either. We're not soap opera watchers or anything like that. And our dinners are fairly traditional as well. It's turkey and all the trimmings, so pretty Britishly predictable. Aurora Rose Creates asks, how long have Jenny and I known each other and how did we meet? And Jeanette, you also asked about that as well. I met Jenny through the Stitch and Bitch network, I suppose. I went online and you had to join Yahoo, and then it was a Yahoo group like the Debbie Stoller Stitch and Bitch. So I found the Cardiff one, went along there, and that's where I met Jenny. And how long ago? Well, I remember her being pregnant with Erin, and Erin is now 7, so I think about 8 years, and we've been best friends for like 4 years, something like that, I think. So it was yarn that brought us together. Kelly, I'm going to murder your surname, Kelly Kohler, Koehle. What was the inspiration to do the retreats? And Ruth, hey Ruth Buchanan asked that as well. The inspiration behind the retreats was Jenny's idea, and it was Jenny trying to rein me in. There aren't a great many yarn shows in the west of England and into Wales. In Wales we have Wonderwool, which is really quite large, up in Bilthwells. That's a 2-day show and it's our favourite one. And we also have the West Wales Wool Show, which is a 1-day only show in Narberth, which is Carmarthenshire, so very, very West Wales. But that's it. There was a Bristol, I'm not sure if it was just called the Bristol Yarn Show, but there was something in Bristol that ran for 2 years and then stopped. And there's really nothing our side of the country. And I think I might have suggested to Jenny that we should organise our own. And Jenny thought maybe we should start a little bit smaller. And how about starting with a knitting retreat that had a small marketplace? And of course, she was completely right. Which is why that between us, Jenny and I make one sensible, fully functioning person. Yeah, so the reason behind the Knit Tea Retreats is I thought we could start running an entire yarn show, and Jenny had a much better idea. Oh, Catherine, who is Soma Dublin. Hi, Catherine. What's my favourite in the gym? I don't like cardio in the gym unless it's Thai boxing. I think my favourite weight training exercise is deadlifts. I like a deadlift. They feel quite useful. Good full body exercise. Really develops your back and your hamstrings and your glutes. And my personal best ever, although it's been a couple of years, was 93 kilos. That was my 1 rep max for deadlifts. So definitely a deadlifter. Oh, Mimar Cox asked about the pattern for the green jumper I was wearing. I think I mentioned this yesterday. The pattern is Brownstone by Brooklyn Tweed. It's available on Ravelry. And the yarn is some that I hand dyed donkeys years ago with another friend of mine, Ellie, when Ellie and Jenny were running a previous yarn dyeing business called Jellybean Yarn. So it's not, the yarn isn't available anymore. But yeah, Brooklyn Tweed pattern, Brownstone. And the toggles on it that hold the neck closed, I rescued for some worn out slippers that I had. They had a nice sort of fake horn effect toggle. And when the slippers died, I cut the toggles off and put them in my button jar. And they were just perfect for the jumper. Oh, Rachel, Wurzel Baggins, can I have Jim the dog, please? No. No, you may not. You've got your own dog. Hands off mine. Another question from Jeanette, who is Jint65. Hello. Who taught me to knit? My grandma taught me to knit. I remember it was when we were living in Welwyn Garden City, so I must have been 7 or 8. And I remember sitting in the corner of the dining room and she had a basket of scraps and some old straights, and I started with the inevitable scarf, and I remember knitting away on it, and it wasn't long until my dad's birthday, so I decided it was going to be a scarf for my dad. My dad is born in the summer. He's born in June, and I remember finishing the scarf, which had large sections of pink garter stitch in it and many holes, and I managed to keep going for long enough that when he put it on, if he really pulled it like that, he could just about get it to overlap at the front. But he was very kind and said it was lovely, and faithfully wore it to work for the rest of the week, and he must have been really hot and sweaty. So it was my grandma that taught me to knit. But when I picked knitting back up again as an adult a few years ago, my mum helped me a great deal. Both my mum and my grandma, who died a few years ago, were great crafters. Mum is a really good knitter, and my mum's also a good seamstress. She sewed a lot of our clothes for my brother and I when we were little. She sewed her own wedding dress. And when I started sewing, yeah, she used to come down and help. If you've ever seen me in my purple fleecy dressing gown with the sheep on, Mum helped me with that, and some tops for Jocelyn and things like that. So yeah, my grandma and then my mum taught me to knit. Creative Med K says, what do your family have for Christmas dinner? We are a classic turkey, roast potatoes, sprouts, bread sauce, cranberry sauce, pigs in blankets kind of family. We don't usually bother with Christmas pudding. Nobody's that keen. Mum does make Christmas cake, but I'm not that keen on Christmas cake, so there's usually some sort of ice cream fruity based dessert, which is much more up my street. And my dad really enjoys good cheese, and so do I, so there's always a good cheese board as well, and there's crackers and corny jokes and things like that. My mum has a really nice dining room with a really big long table and a couple of very nice Christmas tablecloths, and she always makes a really big effort to decorate the table and do sort of little Christmassy greenery arrangements with decorations in for the centrepiece. So it's always a really nice Christmassy welcoming room, and it's a real squash to try and fit all the food on. Oh, another question from Caroline. What are your Christmas plans? I'm spending Christmas Eve with Dave's mum. Dave and the kids and I will be seeing her for the day, and I'll have like a mini Christmas with her. My mother-in-law works for Waitrose. If you're not British, Waitrose is a supermarket, but it's a really rather posh one. And the deal is she's going to provide sort of soup and cheese and biscuits and picky bits for lunch, and then we'll cook some nice evening meal and take it up with us. She lives by herself and she has quite a small kitchen, so we'll need to cook whatever it is at home and take it up. So I'll probably, well, Dave's going to do it. Dave's a really good cook, and he was thinking along the lines of bœuf bourguignon or something like that. And then Christmas Day we will be with my mum and dad and my brother Toby and his wife Olga and their brand new baby boy Jamie. He'll be 2 months, 2 and a bit months by then, so baby's first Christmas, which will be lovely. We're managing to get a weekend off over Christmas. We're working right up until the Monday before Christmas, so the 23rd, but then I think we have almost a week off before we have to go back, which is nice. Melissa, who is Lemon or Lime 00, could you please give Jim the dog a boop from me? Thank you in advance. When I finish recording, I will go and find him and give him that boop. And Hecky Thump 1 asks, what's your favourite thing you've ever knitted? Oh, that's really tricky. What's my favourite thing I ever knitted? I think probably my favourite thing I've ever knitted is my Epistrophe cardigan by Kate Davis. if I can be bothered, I'll put a little picture of it up here. And I really like the wool. I used some stash yarn I had. It was Sirdar Balmoral, which is a wool, it's discontinued now, but it's a wool blend with a tiny little bit of silk in. Blue cardigan with a white colourwork yoke. It was my first colourwork yoke jumper, and it was my first steeked cardigan as well. So I did the whole steeking, crochet reinforcement, steeking, and I lined the button band with grosgrain ribbon, and I used poppers rather than buttons and buttonholes. Yeah, so I think that's probably it. It's not the one I wear the most often because it is seriously warm, but it's the one I'm most proud of. It was quite a stretch for me at the time, and I like that it's functional and I get to wear it. So yeah, probably that. Right, well, that's the end of the questions. Thank you very much, everybody, for thinking of things for me to talk about. I hope that was interesting. If you do have any more questions that you've thought of, if you pop them down below in the comments, I'll try and remember to come back to them another day. I hope you had nice Thursdays. Mine was very long, and I got in the house after a 10-hour shift and then had to head straight back out again to take Conrad out. He's going to see his girlfriend perform in the school play. I took him, and Dave will nip out and pick him up later on tonight. Okay, I think I am going to go and curl up next to my husband for a bit and watch a bit of television before bed, because it's been a long day and I'm up early tomorrow. Right, well, happy crafting in the evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.